I feel sorry to the fans because the fight is boring. The fight is boring. Like that's not the fans expecting to us.
Pretty certain Terence Crawford in his brain is saying to himself, I can beat this dude. You know what I'm saying? If he actually goes through with it, he'll be 38 years of age next Sunday.
There's a guy right now in the sport that's supposed to be the man, big bad wolf. You beat him, you the wolf. Now it's like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, who else I'm gonna fight? You beat the shark, you beat the wolf.
Manny Pacquiao mocks Mayweather over Crawford call-out. Boxing Deserves Better Manny Pacquiao took a jab at Floyd Mayweather for calling out Terence Crawford, saying he feels bad for the fans. According to Pacquiao, this isn't the kind of fight boxing needs, or deserves. He dismissed a potential bout as a dull exhibition, lacking real stakes or excitement. Pacquiao reminded everyone that Mayweather has been retired for years and hasn't been in a serious fight in a long time, calling the entire idea meaningless and disconnected from what true boxing fans want to see.
The fight is boring. Like that's not the fans expecting to us. I mean, as a fighter, if I'm a fan, of course I want to see a good fight, like changing fight, not a passion show.
Manny Pacquiao blasts Mayweather. It's not about boxing anymore. It's about money. Manny Pacquiao didn't mince words in his criticism of Floyd Mayweather, expressing pity for the retired champion whose focus, he claims, is now driven entirely by profit. According to Pacquiao, Mayweather's interest in returning to the ring, particularly for potential exhibition with Terence Crawford, has nothing to do with legacy or love for the sport. Instead, it's about cashing in on spectacle that he called out the matchup as a money grab, devoid of real competitive value, arguing that it reflects a hollow vision of boxing. For Pacquiao, the sport is being reduced to a business act, where fighters parade like models on a runway rather than step into the ring as true warriors.
Now, in the beginning of this conversation, you say, I don't like boastful people. How was it like fighting Mayweather then? Did he get on your nerves? Because I feel like he's a little bit more boastful than the people you might be wanting to hang out with.
Yeah, he's boastful. I think his God is the material things, money, everything like that. I'm pity with him because I want to share the word of God in him if he believe God.
Yeah, I've heard he's a generous man. I think he's done good things. I think, he kind of reminds me of like a lot of people are like this, by the way, including myself. I'm not just saying him. I'm including myself. The man who goes up to Jesus and says, what should I do to get into heaven? He says, sell all your belongings. And he walked away crying because he couldn't sell his belongings.
Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson 2026 announcement sends shockwaves through boxing. The announcement that Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson will face off in 2026 has sent shockwaves through the boxing community. Experts quickly noted that this isn't a clash between two fighters at their prime, but rather an entertainment spectacle designed primarily to generate massive revenue. The Tyson bout is seen as a warm-up for Mayweather's potential fight against Terence Crawford later that year. Industry insiders agree that both events are crafted with financial gain in mind, anticipating huge pay-per-view numbers. While Tyson still commands legendary status and Mayweather boasts a powerful global brand, the matchup is expected to draw worldwide media attention despite lacking true sporting significance.
Broadcast for Jake and Tyson, and some people like the likes of Carl Froch viewed that as an endorsement. Like, look, man, I'm just working. It's a big opportunity to be on Netflix. I didn't put the fight together. I'm not paying these guys. So, let's chill out. But all right, I'm not going to poo-poo this. I just don't know what CSI is, and the way it was presented made me think that there was like a secondary press release to come, that they'll be involved in like some sort of like virtual boxing thing. Like, it just didn't seem real. You know why it didn't seem real? I'll tell you why. There's no date attached to it. There's no venue attached to it. Forget rules, exhibition, not exhibition, weight. I mean, here's a guy who fought a heavyweight forget all that. These things can get figured out. The fine details. The fact that it was announced, why announce something with no date or location attached to it? What's the point? Unless you're just trying to get people excited and trying to get them, trying to get some investors or something like that.
But maybe also testing the waters. If the response was overwhelmingly positive, maybe you go, okay, we move forward. If the response is muted or negative, maybe you go, okay, we're not going to actually do this. You lob it out there as a way to poll the public, and then make an adjustment.
So you don't think it happens?
I do not think it happens. I just don't think there will be enough interest. I know they have huge name value. There's zero after the last performance by Mike Tyson against Jake Paul. I don't think there's going to be interest in seeing Mike Tyson do that again.
Terence Crawford pays tribute to Manny Pacquiao's legendary career. Terence Crawford has consistently expressed deep admiration for Manny Pacquiao. When discussing the Filipino icon, Crawford highlighted that Manny's career is truly one of a kind in boxing history. Pacquiao captured titles across multiple weight classes, often stepping up to face bigger opponents and defying the odds. Crawford emphasized that Manny's achievements are not only historic but also incredibly difficult to replicate, as he rose to greatness during a unique era, taking on challenges that few fighters would even consider.
The world, not me, but shocked the world. This past Saturday, Mexican Independence Day weekend, what he took on defeated another first ballot Hall of Famer, but he essentially jumped up 3 weight classes, technically 2, from 154 to 168, but only had 1 fight at 154 last August against Israel Majimov. Terence Crawford defeated Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is a 4-division champion, 2-time undisputed super middleweight, and the reigning, at the time, super middleweight world champion, undisputed world champion. And Terence Crawford beat him handily and convincingly. And because he beat him so easily, now the 63 win, 3 loss, 2 draw, 39 win by way of knockout, biggest threat has been now imposed on Terence Bud Crawford. And that's the Mexican Ecuadorian monster, David Benavidez, who is a 2-division undefeated world champion, is the 2-time WBC super middleweight and reigning WBC light heavyweight, 175-pound champion, who has a record of 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 24 wins by way of knockout. He stands 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach. This is a fight that David Benavidez has been calling for Canelo Alvarez when he was at 168, and Canelo Alvarez strategically maneuvered around him. But Canelo Alvarez is 5'7", with a 70-inch arm reach, started his career at 147 pounds, made his real name at 154 pounds. He's not a big guy, okay? And styles make fights. Benavidez is 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach. His last fight at 168 against Demetrius Andrade, he rehydrated to 193. So he's a big guy. Canelo Alvarez probably rehydrate to 182, maybe 185 max, right? He's not a big guy, right?
Terence Crawford versus David Benavidez. A fight fans are eager to see the prospect of Terence Crawford facing David Benavidez has become a hot topic among boxing fans. Benavidez is widely regarded as one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport today. Known for his size, youth, and relentless aggression, supporters believe this matchup would challenge Crawford like no other opponent has, pushing him to his limits. Despite the growing excitement, no official announcement has been made, leaving the fight in the realm of speculation. This buzz reflects the fans' strong desire for meaningful, high-stakes bouts, fights that offer real competition rather than exhibition matches or celebrity-driven spectacles.
Because you got to remember, Canelo is the guy right now in the sport that's supposed to be the man, you know, big bad wolf. You beat him, you the wolf. Now it's like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, who else I'm gonna fight? You beat the shark, you beat the wolf. Right. Damn. Like, you know what I mean? Ain't no more ops out there. It's ops out there, but who gonna make them really want to get up? That's the
shit gotta make sense. Like you said, you be the shark and then you be the wolf.
Yeah.
But there's the monster.
Yeah, there is, but that's like a real monster.
Bro, that's to me it don't make sense. But that's
really
what
a monster.
Yo, is that proof? All right, we got the legendary Pape in the building. Legend. But what makes sense? Like, what makes the most sense? I know you said get a line of suits, Brooks Brothers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Your line of suits, get your money, man. Go ahead and get the easy money, man. You ain't gotta sweat no more.
What's up,
Not saying you ain't gotta work, you ain't gotta sweat.
What's happening?
He's paved a career where he could sit down at a table and get this money. He could come out with a Terence Crawford series now, just whatever, doing whatever he like to do. People gonna watch it. Nobody. The fighting part, people don't understand what it's like to be a fighter. You really, a lot of times, fighters really don't be interested in certain fights. It's because when a guy see himself up here and then is fighting a guy down here, it don't interest him. So therefore, when he train, he not gonna really train. He gonna train, but he not gonna train. He not gonna listen. He gonna feel like his coach taking it too serious, and he's like, man, this ain't even that. But your coach like, listen, you could get fucked up. I'm telling you, you don't want to listen. Then you go in there and fight that guy. Then you get fucked up. I seen it.
Trainer Greg Hackett praises Terence Crawford's dominance after victory over Canelo Alvarez. Trainer Greg Hackett spoke with great admiration when reflecting on Terence Crawford's stunning win over Canelo Alvarez. He described Canelo as a shark of boxing, a symbol of dominance who ruled the sport with unmatched strength and skill for years to I.N. Hackett's eyes. Crawford's decisive victory signals a major shift in power at the very top of the boxing world. Taking down a fighter once considered untouchable has crowned Crawford as a new apex predator. The contender every challenger must fear, though Hackett's comments also raise a crucial question about what's next. If Crawford has conquered the toughest fighter of his generation, who remains that can truly test him? Fans are now left debating what challenges lie ahead and whether Crawford will keep fighting long enough to face them or choose to retire while at the peak of his dominance.
But I think there was enough action, and I think Crawford displayed his skill enough, even to someone with not the most trained eye, that they know they saw a very high-level athlete perform something at a very high level last night. I think he gained the sports world's attention last night and respect. He already did after Spence, but it went to another level in this fight.
And I think even the fight itself, like just from a median level, but then the moments where they were having these exchanges, like kind of late in the fight, then people were like, all right, it was good. Then like, okay. I saw somebody like, they're squabbing. Like, this is a fight here. So I think it did.
And Crawford closed the show.
Yeah.
In 10, 11, 12, he stood in there and landed some hard shots and rocked Canelo at the bell. He didn't, well, James was talking about the great Floyd Mayweather. Floyd would go up on you 8-0 and then coast, and you might as well turn the fight off at midway through the ninth. Like, you know, he's not going to. But Crawford didn't do that. But he wasn't up 8-0, to be fair to Floyd. But and Floyd was when he fought Canelo, so he could do that. But Bud instead steps on the gas. Bud is a finisher. You know, he closes really strong. He closes really strong in every exchange. That's one of his gifts. He's the best counterpuncher of his era, one of the greatest counterpunchers that lived. But the great fighters, James would tell us about this. James and Mike McCallum put on fights that exemplify what I'm talking about: initiating and punctuating, being first, being last. That's one of the things that makes Crawford who he is. So, no, I think it was a good enough fight that it certainly didn't hurt boxing.
Yeah, I think Sport of Boxing delivered last night. I mean, Crawford didn't deliver.
Yeah,
Manny,
did.
Analysts agree. Terence Crawford's victory over Canelo Alvarez cemented his legacy. Analysts widely agree that Terence Crawford's dominant win over Canelo Alvarez marked a defining moment in his career, effectively ending any serious debate about his place in boxing history. Before this fight, Crawford had already earned respect for his decisive victory over Errol Spence, where he displayed complete control and silenced critics who questioned the caliber of his competition. However, defeating Canelo carried even greater significance. Canelo, long regarded as one of the sport's strongest pound-for-pound fighters, had dominated multiple divisions and consistently faced bigger, stronger opponents. Crawford not only met this challenge, but dismantled Canelo in a way few thought possible.
Matchup between Prime Mayweather and Prime Crawford, I've tended to lean slightly towards Mayweather. But after that performance there against Canelo, not just the fact he won, the manner in which he won, I've changed my mind. I would now lean towards Prime Crawford over Mayweather. And the reason I say this is because of the expert way in which Terence Crawford mixed offensive in-the-pocket boxing with defensive on-the-move boxing. Not running, save for maybe a round or two. No, just moving nicely. Because if there's one area of Floyd Mayweather's game that was underdeveloped, it's his front foot game. Whenever Mayweather was forced to walk an opponent down, what he did was actually very basic. He would hold his hands up and he would walk forward throwing straight right hands. Okay, they were accurate straight right hands. They were well-timed straight right hands. But there wasn't a whole heap of head movement. There wasn't a whole heap of creative or dynamic footwork, coming forward, walking somebody down. No, it was very, very basic stuff. And I don't think an approach that basic would have worked against, let's say, a Tommy Hearns, who was 6'1", 6'2", 78-inch reach, massive puncher, good hand speed. So I always thought that a prime Tommy Hearns would beat prime Mayweather because I can't see Mayweather doing what Ray Leonard did, grabbing the bull by the horns and taking it to Tommy Hearns. Can't see him doing that. And if he did try and do it, he's going to get clipped. Tommy Hearns hit so hard, that guard from Mayweather wouldn't be enough, in my opinion. And I never saw Mayweather on the front foot moving his head a lot. When he's in the middle of the ring or on the back foot, when he's being defensive, yeah, that's when he moves his head. The famous Philly shell defense, the shoulder roll and all that. But coming forward, no, it's a lot more basic. Go watch Mayweather's old fights. You'll see what I'm talking about. Whenever he's forced to come forward, it's basic stuff. And so after watching Crawford's performance against Canelo, I got to thinking, you know what? Maybe Crawford employs similar tactics if he